Hi, I'm Angela Brommel, Clark County Poet Laureate, and today we're talking with Jig Depio about poetry and painting. Hi, Jig.
Hi, Angela.
I saw your article in the Double Scoop, and I saw you mention that for you, painting was like poetry. And for me, I often talk in workshops about writing like a painter because it's really freeing to work that way.
Yeah, painting and poetry. I used to write poetry when I was in college, but then kind of like faded away when I concentrated on painting. But basically, after decades of painting, you figure out that it's one and the same thing, almost one and the same thing, where it deals with imagery. And I'm saying imagery, not just visually what you're looking at, but
Right.
what you're quote unquote seeing in your mind.
So you and I have talked about this a lot because we've talked about this same relationship between poetry and painting since we met in 2014. And in the past, I also shared that before poetry and at the same time as poetry, I used to paint.
Wow.
I know maybe we haven't talked about that in a while, but I always used my painting sometimes to pre-write. Before I would write, I would maybe paint the world of the story or paint the poem, paint the character, things like that. And so I very much feel that I start with an image that I see on the inside. It's not really there, but I'm working towards that feeling of that image.
Right. And so that's exactly how I feel when I'm painting. And for example, like that project with the city, they ask you to describe this thing called equality of justice for all, and there's you can describe it, but you're going to be reducing it to this definition, and it's not going to be open to a lot of other interpretations that people from other cultures might see it differently. And so imagery and poetry kind of like leave things open so that you are more inclusive of other people's worldviews.
Can we talk a little about some of your larger murals that you've done in recent years and some of those images in there and how you see that telling the story related to poetry?
Well, the major piece I've done actually for Clark County, it's 40 feet by 12 feet. And it's supposed to depict like the history of Clark County, which was actually established by the Mormons coming in from Utah, thinking that it was accidentally, they thought it was still part of Utah, and then realized it became part of Nevada. And so I read a 600-page book, and it's full of poetry in there. Weirdly, you're trying to like understand, like you're taking that culture. It's more of a cultural history rather than an actual history. And how do I translate that into images? Because there are barely any images in like the mid 19th century, and so it's like, okay, let's so you take these images and you try to create a picture or a movie in your head, and that's what became that 40-foot mural.
So I'm trying to think, we have this class that meets once a month or so at the Winchester, 10 to noon, and it's called Writer Ready. And we spend the first hour talking about things like this, the second hour working. But there might be people who are writers who say, I'm not sure what talking about painting or that concept of looking might do for my work, or how would I use it? How would you encourage writers to come have this conversation with us?
Well, first of all, it's like, because with poetry, it's very metaphysical. You got these words in this language, and so I'd want to invite them to get, to be hands-on, like feel this material space that we have, and to really like be more literal about this material. Instead of grasping the words in your mind, you're grasping with your hands, putting it together, and then try to get them to project their intentions first before putting the stuff together, and then realizing that later on, after they've done their artwork, that it's gone further or expanded away from their original intention, so that by the time they put their title on it it transforms into something else. You know, and I want them to get that feeling like, hey, there's more to it than just playing around. Sometimes with poets, just like painters, you get stuck with a structure.
Right.
And so this one will be an opportunity for them to break away from that mold and try something else.
Well, thank you so much for coming out, and I look forward to seeing you soon at a Writer Ready session.